Hey there guys, I wanted to show you how I store passwords, logins, credit card information, banking information. And you might say, well, why are you going to expose this to the world? Well, I've created a demo database file here, and I'm not going to show you any real data, but I'm going to show you how I do it in the concepts. Because I've been managing real estate websites for clients, for dozens and dozens of clients for about 15 years. And maybe about 5, 6 years ago, I migrated all of my data over to a new database system. It's called KeePassX. I love it because it's not a commercial mass storage cloud-based site. And what that means is all of your data is not going in and out of and being stored in one central system, with that has millions of records in it. You are the master of your own security, which has its own risks, but if you take those risks seriously and learn how to manage them and mitigate them, you can have a much, much more secure personal security system for all of your logins and financial data, etc., than any commercial mass storage system. And so let me tell you how to do that. It's really important in this day and age because hackers are just so awful. They're so prevalent. They're everywhere. It's tough to have personal security. But the cryptocurrency crowd has brought the idea of personal security to light. So whether you're a follower of cryptocurrencies or not, doesn't matter. It's done a service to the community, to the American community, well, the worldwide community, and brought these issues of personal security and taking our own personal security into our own hands to light, and it's caused us all to learn how to do that better and avoid the hackers. So again, here's how we do it. So go into, just Google KeePassX. You can see it on my screen. I'm just using a demo file here, but it's an open source product called KeePassX. You can download a free copy of it, and the reason open source is so good on stuff like this is because coders can scour the code and look for any vulnerabilities and verify that it's secure, rather than just having some black box corporate company manage the security and then trust them with that, trust them with all of our data. And you can see how that's worked. Experian gets hacked, and all these other retailers get hacked, and um, all of our credit card data gets exposed to hackers and put onto lists that get bought and sold on the black market. So download KeePassX. It's available for Android, for iPhone, for Apple products, Macs, as well as for Windows. So what we're looking at right now is KeePassX on my MacBook. I choose to use an Android phone rather than an iPhone, and I can sync it up flawlessly with that, and I'll explain how that works in a little bit. So download it, install it, create a database, okay? So give it a name that isn't obvious. Don't say passwords or my passwords. You call it something nondescript, okay? Just something that you'll know what it is, but no, if any hacker ever got a hold of it and started browsing your files, they'd never know what it was. So do that first. If you install Dropbox and store it in an obscurely named, nondescriptly named Dropbox folder. Okay, that's the second thing. So take care of that, and then we'll proceed from there. Um, I'm going to close out of this database for a second, and so you can see what the login screen looks like. Now, I've created this demo with just the password of demo because I'm not going to expose how many characters my own personal database is. But I'll tell you this right now, it's long. It's a passphrase, not a password. And it's long enough that, probably any brute force hacker would never be able to, in 100 years, crack it, because it's a lot of characters. But it's a gibberish passphrase that I've memorized, and I can type it in quickly. I don't need to type it in more than once a day usually. Um, maybe twice if I happen to close out of it or reboot or whatever. But I can just keep the database open, and it's very, very secure, ultra secure. I have a hard time even thinking that the NSA would be able to crack it. It's that secure because everything in the database is highly encrypted, and very secure. So, so the first step is to give it a super long passphrase, 4, 5, 6 words that are in a gibberish sentence that don't make sense. You don't want it to be grammatically correct. So that makes it easier for brute force hackers to figure out, using dictionaries and stuff like that. So that's number one. Then once you log in, you can see there's folders, and I've created these folders so you can see I've got personal and business. You can put whatever, you can organize it however you want, which is awesome because you can make it work the way you want it to work. So it's kind of like creating and organizing bookmarks in your browser. You just create and organize your login data and personal data. You can store very sensitive things, like banking logins and credit cards, and for me, I have business logins, and then I have websites that I build both for myself and for other clients, and so I can take care of all those logins, and I can, in my clients' logins, I can have their name as a subfolder, and I can have each client have their own collection of logins that are specific to them. So if a client calls me up and says, "Hey Kevin, I don't remember my password. I know you gave it to me last year or last month, but I don't remember what my password is to my WordPress site. Can you send that to me?" I can be on the road, on vacation even, as long as I got cell coverage, I can hop into my KeePassX. It's called something a little bit different on the Android, but it's the same product basically. Log in and with my fingerprint, I don't have to type in that long password. Log in with my fingerprint biometrics on my phone, and copy and paste that login and text it right back to them. So it's super secure, it's super easy to use. It just requires a little bit of understanding of how it works in order to set it up correctly so that it is secure. So don't take that for granted. Follow what I'm saying, understand it, and take it seriously. A lot of people blow off security and they say, "Wow, no hacker is going to be interested in what I have." Well, yeah, they are. They are. You have to assume that every hacker wants what you have, even if it's just for curiosity. All right, so that's how you organize it in folders. Let's say I'm going to create a new personal login. I'm going to go to this button here, and I'm going to say, "Oh, this is my Hulu login," right? So I'm going to give it my username at gmail.com, and then I'm going to go, and now here's the cool thing. You can create passwords, super secure, unique, highly unmemorizable, let's put it that way, passwords, without ever seeing them, without ever exposing them even on your screen. So I'm going to go to generate a password, and I can tell the software how many characters I want it to be. I'm going to say I'm going to have a 24 character password for Hulu, which is ridiculous. You don't need that, but hey, let's take our own advice seriously and have everything be super secure. I'm going to accept that, and you can see I don't even need to see what that password is. I just know that it's long and it's secure and it's unique. I don't ever need to see it. Then I'm going to show it to you just so you can see how secure it is. Okay, no one could ever memorize that. That's impossible to memorize for most people. So you can see if you have hundreds of passwords and they're all like that, no hacker is ever going to find one and be able to get into the second account, just because they knew what your first password was. So that's why we do it this way. I'm going to obscure it to the screen, and I'm going to save it. And now from here on out, I can just copy this using the keyboard shortcut of Command-C on the Mac, or on the PC, it's Control-C. And you can see that it copies my password to the clipboard and hides the software, so I can type it in. So I'm just going to go to a text field here and show you. I'm going to paste that in. There's the password that was on my clipboard. Okay, I'm going to escape out of that so it goes back to my Twitter, which you're welcome to follow me on Twitter at Kevin Harper. I'd love for some more followers. But that's how you copy and paste a password. It's really super easy to use. In the database, you can even type in the URL. So if you want to make sure, if you not sure you'll remember what URL and account name, because you can type in the name that you want here. If you're not sure you'll remember the URL for it, you can type in that URL down here, and then you can just copy and paste that first, and then go back and copy the username and password. All right, so that's how the desktop version of the software works. And then once you've stored it in a Dropbox folder, okay, an obscurely named Dropbox folder, I might add, so that if someone breaks into it, they don't, not going to see not going to know exactly what it is. You can say my photos or something like that, you know, and then put your Dropbox database in there. All right, so now you go into your phone, and if you use iPhone, it's going to be one product name. If you use Android, it's going to be something else. On Android, I believe what I'm using is called KeePass. Let's see, KeePass. No, the number 2 Android. KeePass to Android. So that's what I'm using for my version of KeePassX, and because it's open source, people can create their own versions of it for different devices. So find the product in the iTunes store for iTunes, or for iPhone if you use an iPhone. For Android, you can use this one. There might be another option out there. But that's what I use. So then on my phone, once it's installed, I make sure I have Dropbox installed on my phone, and then I browse in my KeePassX or KeePass to Android on my phone. I browse to open the file from Dropbox and synchronize from there. So that way, what's nice is I can, if I happen to be on the road and my client needs me to change a password for some reason, or they don't know and I'm having to create a record for them, and so I'm going to give them a secure password, I can do that. I can save the file, I can email them the record, and then I know that it's saved in Dropbox, and so next time when I go back to my computer, it's going to be there, so that I can log in seamlessly. So super easy to use, super easy to understand if you just understand the basics of how it works. And then super secure. I honestly don't think the NSA would be able to crack it if they wanted to. As long as you have a super long passphrase that you've memorized and committed to memory, you can write it down, but only write it down and stick it in a safe. Don't keep it in your wallet or anything like that. Commit it to memory. Make sure it's not grammatically correct, just a series of words that you can memorize, and then boom, you've got a highly secure password storage system that you can store very sensitive data in without any fear of it being hacked and cracked into. So I hope that helps you, as if you're a real estate agent, which are most of my clients. You've got a lot of secure information that you're saving and storing for people as it comes and goes in and out of your hands through your transactions. This might be a way that you can do that. Certainly for all of your website needs. When you have a website, a real estate website, a WordPress site, or whatever, you're going to have web hosting logins. You're going to have email usernames and passwords. You're going to have WordPress logins and things like that. And so this is a perfect way to keep track of all that. You might need to log into your Trulia.com site or account or whatever, or Realtor.com, or your MLS login. All these things can be stored, and they can be super secure, so you don't ever have to be that person that got hacked because they used the password, my password, on all 10 or 15 or 100 of their logins. So don't be that person. Take ownership of your own online security, and this is a great way to do that. It's super highly secure. I have dozens of clients that I have to store personal, highly sensitive information for, credit cards, and my own credit cards. I use it for myself, so I don't do anything for my clients that I'm not doing for myself. It's super secure. And I want to explain one more thing before I sign off. The reason that it's secure, even though it's stored in the cloud, again, is just because it's not uniformly it's not uniform data in a database. So while a big password storage company might have a uniform set of data, so the hackers hack into the company and they got everything, or that's not how this is. If someone hacks into Dropbox, first of all, they're never going to know what this file is, and even if they did, it's highly secure and they wouldn't be able to hack into it, and they wouldn't even know ahead of time if they did hack into it, if it was anything worth hacking into. Hackers want a big payoff of millions and millions of credit card records. They're going to go after the big targets for that, and that means going after big data with big uniform databases. And that's not what this is. This is highly customizable, and it's going to be unique to you. No hacker is going to even have an interest in it. And if you secure it properly, even if they did have an interest in it, they're not going to be able to get into it. The NSA couldn't get into it. So there we go. I hope you have a great day. If you need a real estate website, please get in touch with me. I'll provide a link on the video. Go to resultsinternet.com. I have some special pricing every now and then. I do really awesome WordPress websites integrated with IDX. There's my plug. Have an awesome day. Bye.